Well, hello there, chums. Today I'm visiting the archives and giving you a rundown of what you can find at the archives. So you can find Scout Sue. It's an NPC, basically. The same sort of NPCs that you're going to find inside of the stations. Now, when you talk to these NPCs, they give you the usual choices of, learning their language and so forth and so on, giving them trinkets. There you go. There you are, Sue. There you are. Don't spend it all at once. Whatever you do with the Viking daggers, who knows. Anyway, the first agent you've got here on the left. Hello there, my spiky-headed friend. How are you? So these are pretty much the same as the ones that you find at outposts on the planet's surface. Yeah, the little minor settlements, I should say. So if I scan down on here, sometimes all this stuff on the top you can pretty much craft, but then towards the bottom you do find things that you can't, like the salvage data. Sometimes you find navigational data or drop pod data or whatever. But anyway, so there is a use there, and it's not too badly priced, but they've got these curious things opposite him. So yeah, these are exchange vaults, and you should be able to trade in a lot of these items that you find by sending out frigates or freighter missions, or fixing sort of down ships, or helping distressed people in space and stuff like that, or even digging up relic sites. So here you go. These are the ones that I got from doing some freighter missions. So I got there the Gloom Fruit Sprouts, or I should say frigate missions, and also the Rotten Medical Canister, which is pretty awesome. That one's worth nearly 1 million units. And then I've done some Diggyman Dig type missions, yeah, from the actual station vendor. You can pick up these sometimes at the actual Nexus as well. And like I said, if you fix downed NPC ships, so sometimes they're on planets, sometimes you get them hail you in space. The ones that hail you in space, I've had more luck with those ones than the ones that are, on planet surfaces and giving you some sort of item that you can trade in these relic sites. Anyhow, if you do see more than one mission listed inside the station, I would suggest doing them one at a time, because sometimes they can clash and it can cause all sorts of tomfoolery. Yeah, that one there, that's that Sink Shade Gloom, the bluey type one. I actually got that from digging up, the salvage tech, not the ancient bonus planets, but the opposite ones. Yeah, I got it from one of those. Anyway, let's open up this, the ancient vault from the actual mission. I got intimate mementos. I don't think it's going to accept them, Anyway, let's head on over here. So this seems to be quite fussy, but you see that it's got titles on the things that you get from doing all those things that I just mentioned. Each of them have their sub-menu on their heading, so you can kind of get an idea of what this will accept and what it won't accept. So here we go, let's turn this in. Brilliant. And you can see that you're going to get equivalent or greater. So I'm going to send over the Rotten Medical Canister. Brilliant. There we go. And I got given a rusty mixing weapon in exchange. And that rusty mixing weapon, let's see how much it's worth. There it is. There we go. Ooh, 2 million billion units, or whatever that number is. It's a lot more than what my original was worth. And I've put it up on my freighter for safekeeping. But just like Kronos, this machine, and my freighter's in a different freaking system, it manages to scan across different systems, and it finds that lost artifact sitting inside my freaking freighter. So yeah, so there you go. Submit rusty mixing weapon. Interesting, and curiously enough though, it gives me back the exact same thing that I just gave it, in the exact same value and all sorts of other shenanigans. There we go, there it is there, and you can see now I've got one of those still inside my infantry space. I'll put it back in my freighter. Now I'm going to go check my freighter to see if I've got 2. No, I've only got 1. I've only got 1, so it did actually find the one that was sitting inside of my freighter, which is in a different system, like I pointed out. You can see there though, at the top it said there, ×2. When it showed the actual item, but I haven't got ×2. So I don't know what's going on. It feels a little bit foobarred. But yeah, so I'm going to try and submit again. And here we go. Let's have a look what it does this time. So there you go, rusted mixing weapon. Let's see if I get 3. It does say ×3. But then when I go and actually... where did I put it? It was in my exosuit. We go back to my exosuit. But you can see there, I have 1. I do not have 3. So yeah, it's weird. So let's press on anyway, chums. So the next console you're going to come across is this one, the local information type, mappy type thing, which is pretty cool. Information repository, I should say. And I love the fact that it's got all the waypoints on it and stuff like that, and it shows like the hazardous flora logos and all sorts of things. It almost makes you think that these NPCs are out doing exactly what you're doing and searching and stuff. And it's giving me a planetary chart. So this is different to the charts that you get up on site of the station. I mean, you can get a planetary chart if you just exchange nanites for a chart. It gives you one at random. But if you swap navigational data, you can choose what type of chart you get. Now, all the charts that I've got so far, though, from these archives, I've visited 3 of these archives now, and every time I've picked up a planetary chart, chart, it's pointed me to a ruin site, like a dig site. And I'm thinking, does it do that on purpose? Because maybe the things that you're going to get, you can actually hand into the archive exchange vault. So that got me thinking. Anyway, we're going to have a look at that planetary chart and we'll see how we get on. Because so far, all the ones that I've got before didn't give me anything that I could turn in. But we'll see how we get on this time. I mean, it's just a fussy freaking machine, isn't it? Right, okay, over here we've got the envoy. So this is a guild envoy, very much like the ones up on the station. Now what I haven't tried doing is seeing if I can accept a gift from this guy, head up to the station and see if I can get the same gift again. Yeah, I haven't tried that yet. But to be honest, really? Do we need to? I don't know. Anyway, this is a merchant's guild, and I'm talking to him, picking it up, and there we are. He's credited me a shed load of units. Now, it almost feels like these guild envoys are sort of like a placeholder for something bigger to come, because the guild envoys, they don't really do too much, and guilds isn't really a thing yet. Anyhow, so I'm just going to sell those rusted thingy-majiggies. And you know how Kronos only sniffs out 3 of the things you've got, even though you might have more? Let's see if this only sniffs out 1 of the things you've got. Here we go, let's go for it. Let's see if it wants to take anything else that I got from my freighter or frigate missions. No, it freaking doesn't. But then again, I didn't think it would, because none of them have got those same subheadings, you know, biological sample, for example. See, look, it says delicate flora. Delicate flora. Well, delicate flora wasn't a thing, neither was historic stuff, and unearthed treasure is not a thing yet in any of these archivey vaults. But who's to say that, you know, some of these archives, they might have a different one, and they might have a different subheading, so maybe hold on to your stuff. Who frickin' knows? Kaboom! Blow my little mind. It's like there's 2 vaults there, and there's some underneath the ground down here as well. So yeah, maybe if they don't take these items, and maybe... who knows? I was just going to think, if there's 3 of them there, it'd be maybe if you interacted with different ones, it could unlock different things to actually unearth. I mean, or hand in, I mean. But it just seems weird that they just come up with the same 3 headings. I don't know whether it's by design or what. Now, the last part of these archives is this back area. And I think this is why it's called a Colossal Archive, is because of this giant archive machine. And you get options to unlock the archive. It almost feels like you need to learn these words to unlock it. But then I've seen people go here very early game that probably don't know the words, and they still manage to unlock it. And it doesn't seem to matter which option you choose to unlock these things, it gives the same result. Now, when you're actually reading this sort of lingo, this lore, at the moment you can see here it's the title of Dishonored, and I think this is very much tied into the Viking archives. This is a Viking archive site, so I'm getting some lore from ancient archives of the Viking times, and they're talking a lot here about the Gek, Herc, and their enemies, and all sorts of stuff, slavery of the Gek, and how the Gek have kind of been sort of slightly forgiven, but do you actually forgive your enemies? Do you forget what they've done in the past? Blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it does make you wonder whether this new lore has been put in for a reason, whether at some stage we might get to see the home worlds of all the different races, or whether we might get some sort of story arcs. You know, Sean Murray put out the orange emoji, and that was for origins, you know, oranges and origins. I think it was a play on words or something. Donald Trump couldn't say the word or something, I don't know. But anyway, Sean Murray also put up 3 oranges. So what if that means 3 origins backstories? One for the Gek, one for the Viking. Yeah, and yeah, the one for the Korvax. I nearly forgot what the 3rd race was then, chums. That's a bit freaking mental. But anyway, I'm going to do a reload, and we're going to try a different option from this, this sort of archive. So let's head on over. Let's hit it up, and we're going to choose the word holy. Now, I've never heard of the Vikings use the word holy. I mean, yes, they've got Herc and stuff like that, but they're not really into all that sort of malarkey, are they? So I'm going to select word holy. I would have expected it to have locked me out of the archive for getting the word wrong. But no, we just press on, and it gives exactly the same title of Dishonored. Now, I'm wondering if I find another Viking archive and go to it, whether I'm going to get different lore. I don't know. I haven't actually found enough of these things to actually put it to the test. And I have been watching Mac for a day because he's been going to multiples of these archives and unlocking them. So maybe I might be able to work stuff out from watching him play, or I might just go and find some more of these and have a little bit of a tinker. But anyway, for now, chums, I don't know whether this is by design. If it's by design, it kind of feels that they've missed bits. I don't know. It just feels like a placeholder to me at the moment, chums. Yeah, mind-blowing stuff. I just feel that it needs to be built on a little bit more, especially just like the archive machine that you've got down here as well. It almost feels like, well, there's 3 of them, so you get one that's actually underneath this site as well. I'm just going to remark that back in because I've done the reload. And I'm going to head over to that archive site. But there's 3 of those machines. It'd be interesting if you hit up the other one. It would come up with, well, a different one than what I interacted with. It would give something else. Anyway, I'll see you over at the relic site. Here we go, let's go. Kapow! There I am, digging up the crate. Let's open up these, and let's see what I get. Righto. Aha! Well, this one says biological samples. Now, that's got one of the subheadings. So you see this one under here. Imagine if you went to this one and it came up with, ancient fossil or something, or ancient bones, or salvage tech. So you can actually hand in different things in different machines. I mean, there's 3 machines. There's multiple things with multiple titles. It just feels half there. I mean, they've all got the same choices. So at the moment, it seems rather limited in what you can trade in. And then the other stuff is like, well, that's just junk. We don't want that. Awesome. Brilliant. I got a fossil sample. Look at that. Crocodile. Nice. Fantastic. Well, that's now turned into a fossil sample, not a ancient fossil or ancient bone. So, yeah, it's very title specific in what it wants and what it will accept. So I can hand in that fossil sample now. It's just going to give me the same freaking fossil sample back, and it's going to be exactly the same one that I gave it in. So yeah, but it does come up and says that I've now got ×2 of the dang thing, which I definitely don't. There you go, ×2. I haven't got ×2. I've got ×1. Anyway, so that's everything that I've found out so far about these ancient relic type sites or archive sites, colossal archives, whatever you want to call them. That's everything I know so far, chums, but it's probably rather limited still. It's still just me just fooling around with this stuff because we don't get really guides or anything. Anyway, if you find out anything or you feel I've missed anything, please add it into the comments. Yes, I'm talking to you. Heck yes. Anyway, until next time, cheery bye for now. And if you do want to come to this site, here's the actual location. You code, you type Portaliman thingamajig. And yes, you're going to need the actual planetary coordinates if you're not on the same platform as I. And there's those. Goodbye! Well, thank you very much for watching this video. And if you like what you see, please hit a like or a subscribe. And yeah, or you can support my channel through Patreon. Here are all my Patreon backers. Thanking you, Patreon. And I also have YouTube membership. If you want to sign over to YouTube membership, check out my video links in my video description. I also have merch. Grab yourself a fine and dandy pair of socks, a mug or a t-shirt over my merch store. Or I also have Atlas cards that I sometimes have on my eBay store. Check out my video description. So that is the end. Thank you for watching, and please hit a join or a subscribe, or just hit one of these tiles on this screen you see here now. Stay with Captain Steve a bit longer.